Running an institution like Berkeley requires tremendous courage. Berkeley is not a place for the faint of heart.
It was very clear when I came to UC Berkeley. My friends said, good luck.
Berkeley is a lightning rod. Berkeley is Berkeley. You get in the news if you do things at Berkeley.
Congratulations.
Carol became chancellor at really a very important moment in the university's life.
When she became the chancellor in 2017, UC Berkeley, just this campus, was facing a huge budget deficit, $150 million.
It was a time of turbulence on our campus. We had Milo come to campus. There were a lot of perceived right-wing speakers coming to campus that were disruptive.
It was a time in which Jewish and Israel studies was underfunded, and the commitment was just not there.
I felt that if I could balance the budget, which I felt confident I could do, that would do a huge amount for the campus in restoring morale. And then I've always been a very cheerful and enthusiastic person, and I thought that my spirit would help people become inspirited.
The extent to which she stepped in and quickly changed direction and mood and feeling and esprit de corps and a sense of purpose, really, when I look back on it, it's stunning.
My name is Carol Christ, and as chancellor, it's my
The tone that she sets is one of incredibly high standards and a commitment to make things better, regardless of how difficult individuals or institutions or particular decisions might make that.
It's 50 years of experience and really understanding higher education.
When we've had some controversial speakers on campus, she was not going to say that we're not going to have a speaker. We believe in the right of students to bring speakers, and I believe in free speech, and that goes across the board of who that is, and I'm going to stand up for that.
2 hours before guest speaker Milo Yiannopoulos was set to speak, a small group ripped down barricades, started a fire, and shot fireworks directly at officers.
I think considering that people on this campus are in danger and considering that his words are a form of violence, I don't think that this event should be constituted as free speech. I think it is hate speech and it shouldn't be protected.
We're all respectful of free speech, but all values have some limitations. Chancellor Christ has been able to understand the issues and the nuances and navigated this safe space between free speech and protection of minority interests.
She had a clarity that was immediate, and that was that we would, as a campus, we would do what was required to allow the free speech to occur, but that we would also be unambiguous in stating what our principles as a university are, and we would be clear and decisive about that.
Just because you have the right to say something doesn't mean it's right to say that thing. There was a cartoon in the Daily Cal, the student newspaper, that many people, including me, interpreted as anti-Semitic.
The chancellor on her own wrote a very strong response, calling it out for what it was.
That immediacy of putting out a message did something right away for the community because it made everyone feel safe. She understood, she knew what was going on, and she moved on that issue.
When you can use something that strikes some people in the community as anti-Semitic, and the people who were saying this or posting it or publishing it don't feel it's anti-Semitic, that's a real occasion for dialogue, and that's what we have to have. We spent a lot of time with the Daily Cal talking about why this cartoon was anti-Semitic in the eyes of many people. And it was a learning experience for that editorial board.
The chancellor has really used her platform in a thoughtful and strategic manner to call out anti-Semitism in a clear and unequivocal way, that it is unacceptable, it's inappropriate, and it's not part of the norm of this community.
All this comes because we have the support of the chancellor. On campuses where you don't have a strong chancellor who's willing to stand up against anti-Semitism, stand up for equality across all groups, you've seen this come in like an infection.
I have two wonderful groups, which I had no part in forming. One is the Chancellor's Advisory Committee on Jewish Life.
We've taken on a broad portfolio of issues addressing anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, as well as coordinating all of the aspects of Jewish life and issues devoted to Israel on campus.
They are such a terrific group. I meet with them several times a semester. They give me advice. They give me an account of the temperature on campus. They give me suggestions for things that I might do.
She has been a wonderful ally, not just for Jewish students, but all of our students.
What you have to do is foster and value diverse exchanges of views, even when that can be difficult at times.
It hasn't always been easy for Jewish and Israel Studies at Berkeley. 10 years ago, those programs didn't exist in the robust way they exist now.
There's a wonderful program that the Jewish and Israel Studies are creating now, bringing students to Israel and setting up meetings with many, many different groups, including Palestinian groups, to try to give them more experience. And with experience, I think, comes understanding, comes empathy.
It's very fitting that JCRC, in behalf of the Jewish community, honors Carol with this award. She has a very difficult job, and I think she exemplifies for all of us moral courage.
Her job is enormous. Like, getting up in the morning and facing her to-do list is courageous in and of itself.
I feel extremely humbled by it and honored by it. We have such an extraordinary faculty community, such an extraordinary student community, and it's really their reaching out and communicating with me, making sure their voices are heard, being very thoughtful about what I might do, that I think is improving the climate for Jewish students on this campus.
She's not shied away from making a statement and calling out anti-Semitism when it exists and when it's seen. And that's something that takes courageous leadership.
Couldn't be more appropriate that Chancellor Christ is getting an award for courageous leadership, and that award comes from the JCRC.
JCRC is just an invaluable resource for the community here in terms of knowing what's going on and in terms of how we can address issues, because a lot of times JCRC has dealt with that issue.
I'd like to begin today by telling you a little bit about yourselves.
She will never hesitate to make clear what she believes and the extent to which those beliefs dovetail with the values and the mission of the university.
Carol will have a legacy as a person who, at a critical moment where we weren't sure what the great public research university would be like, she's the person who stood up and said, this is how to do it.
You ultimately can't bring everyone together. What you can do is listen. What you can do is acknowledge what you've heard. What you can do is explain very clearly what you're going to do and the grounds of your decision. And you try to find a higher ground in which people can come together.
I'm very grateful that she's here. I hope she re-ups and she stays as long as she can.